The Handmaid's Tale is a female centered drama set in a dystopian world that is drastically different than our own. Let's break down season 1 and get to know the world of Gilead. The Handmaid's Tale was based on the best selling novel of the same name released in 1985 by Margaret Atwood. Inspired by the controversial story, the television series was created by Bruce Miller and premiered on April 26, 2017 on Hulu. There's been many dystopian books and series that allow us to escape, if only for a little while, to a new world where the rules and power structure are different. The Handmaid's Tale has been one of those rare few that has bled off the pages and into real life as more and more activists are donning the red Handmaid's Tale cape and bonnet in order to form social consciousness around current issues. Since its premiere on Hulu in 2017, the intense female-centered drama about a world where religious ideology has turned the clock back on everything from economics to class structure to the rights of women. In this world where the human birth rate is pretty much non-existent and women are treated like breeding stock, the show really helps to show the pathway that can be taken to completely shift what is considered normal. Dystopian fiction has been a staple in literature since 1924, when We, a dystopian novel by Russian writer Yevgeny Zamyatin, followed a distant one-state society where logic and pragmatism is rule and characters are described only by their numbers. These are stories that display a world similar to our own, but where some event or change has occurred that life is different. The genre typically includes this event in different forms. And while The Handmaid's Tale certainly could qualify for a multitude of these categories, the most focus is put on the dynamic changes of religion and its implementation into the modern world. These dystopian tales can almost be categorized as statistical thrillers to serve as cautionary tales of how the world could turn. For the audience, reading a dystopian book or watching one play out in film can be so unnerving, which is why we tend to gravitate towards them. While in this world that seems somewhat familiar, there are such dynamic and often unsettling changes to what is normal that you often wonder, Season 1 introduces us to the world of Gilead, the new world order of the United States of America after a strict conservative religious sect overthrew the government. What's so impactful about The Handmaid's Tale is that not only is the delivery of the world completely immersive, but it also takes you on a journey of breadcrumbs to see exactly how we got here.
Nothing changes instantaneously. In a gradually heating bathtub, you'd be boiled to death before you knew it.
We start off the series with a woman and her family running through the woods. We don't know why they're running or who they're running from, but it instantly bonds you as the audience to the characters on screen. Cut to a world where that same woman is introduced into a world where women are subjugated, there's a color code based on status, and there's an ever-looming threat of who you can or cannot trust. While most of the show we spend our time in Gilead, the show flashes back at key points to before this time, one similar to our own. With flashbacks, the series is able to give us the visual experience of transition from one society to another. Through flashbacks, not only do we learn more about the women and their lives before Gilead, but the world and its origins, the systematic way laws and accessibility were targeted, and how women's lives and rights were changed forever.
Folks, ladies and gentlemen, folks, may I have your attention, please? Ladies, you should all know that I feel really sorry about this.
Oh, shit.
It isn't my decision. I don't have a choice. I have to let you go.
What?
I have to let you all go.
Wait, we're being fired?
No, not fired. No, let go.
What does that even mean?
Can't work here anymore. It's the law now.
Roger, what law?
I don't have a choice. They gave me 10 minutes. Please, just pack up your things.
Hey, why is it just the women?
I don't have a choice.
Roger.
While flashbacks give us a sense of methodology and uncovering the meticulous steps taken in order to completely redo U.S. society, the series also shows us the motivation behind this change. These scenes are heavy in imposing the theme of lack of fertility. In this version of our world, the birth rate has plummeted, so much so that the female womb is now the most valuable commodity. That desperation to reproduce and continue the human race has radicalized a piece of the country into literal human breeding.
What are you doing? She's alive. My baby. I told them. She's not your baby. Of course she is. Isn't she beautiful?
Wait, hey, stop! She's here!
Blessed are the meek, dear. Blessed are the meek. You always left out the part about inheriting the earth.
Eyes front! Where do your hands belong?
Girls. I know this must feel very strange. But ordinary is just what you're used to. This may not seem ordinary to you right now, but after a time it will. This will become ordinary.
Once Gilead is in place, there's a huge shift in the function of life and how familiar it begins to become. On the show, we can see through the characters about them, their status, and their backstory that forms their relationship with this new world. The biggest example in this complete shift in cultures is when we see Emily's trial. In a world where scripture is literally the rule of law, both defendants are gagged, silenced in the face of justice. The state representative is sworn in saying that his report is truthful, and on that alone, both defendants are convicted. There is no evidence, no witnesses, no jury, nothing. The facade of court in general is another layer into the authoritarian showcase of being humane and civilized, while in reality, an oppressive and brutal regime. While Emily's status in this society certainly contributes to her miscarriage of justice, even those women in Gilead's upper class fall under the sexist and oppressive rule themselves. When Serena is confronted by a visiting foreign dignitary to learn about Gilead, she is made painfully aware of how even she is affected by this world, a world that she helped to create.
I'm blessed to have a home and a husband to care for and follow.
Traditional values are at the core of everything we do here, including trade policy.
Never mistake a woman's meekness for weakness.
Clever.
Yes, it is. It's from A Woman's Place.
My wife's book.
I reread it on the plane. Such a thoughtful argument for domestic feminism, as it was called.
Thank you. That's very kind.
I heard you speak once at a rally before the war. You were very passionate.
Women were abandoning their families and we needed to make a change. We were running out of time.
You were arrested for inciting to riot, if I recall.
I had a temper in those days.
Back then, did you ever imagine a society like this?
A society that has reduced its carbon emissions by 78% in 3 years.
A society in which women can no longer read your book. Or anything else.
And while the moment is short, it is also impactful to see a handmaid's perspective, but not the one you might think.
Don't do that again. What do you mean? I mean of Stephen. I'm not going to let you mess this up for me. This isn't messed up. You're cute. Used to do yoga classes? Spinning or something? Before? And your man liked to cook? I don't know what you're talking about. You guys had a first floor walk up, down Back Bay, with a garden. Had yourself a Nordstrom's card, right? I liked anthropology. Yeah? I used to get fucked behind a dumpster just so I could buy a 6 of Oxy and a Happy Meal. I'm clean now. I got a safe place to sleep every night and have people who are nice to me. Yeah, they're nice. All right. And I want to keep it that way. Whatever they did to Stephen, that's not going to happen to me. Understand? Mm-hmm.
This is a moment showing how complex and unique every person's experiences can shape their acceptance to change. For some, this may be torture, but for someone else, it may be a breath of fresh air.
For sacrifices, Mrs. Castillo. That has always been his way, but he gives the righteous blessings in return, and I think that it's safe to say Gilead has been blessed in so many ways.
The world of Gilead, just like any other society, has very specific protocols to ensure the erasure of the modern world. While there are definitely big changes in everyday life in Gilead, there is no more a stark change than the color-coded dress code based on social standing. It's a constant visual reminder of who you are in the world. Each outfit's color is like a flag waving in the wind to show what house you belong to. While men's colors are typically suited for black, suits for important men, more casual garb for everyday men, military and tactical garb for guards, the women's dress code is more expanded to show all the different layers and roles that women play in this society. Without saying anything, these colors have established a caste system that have divided everyone, and especially women, even further, while not really bettering the situation too much from one class level to the next. Establishing a social class is critical in keeping others in line by dividing people up and creating a natural social barrier. As currency is essentially obsolete in Gilead, these colors represent everything to its citizens. As in other regimes and totalitarian societies across the world, Gilead uses the power of fear to keep the public in line and discourages rebellion. Gilead is the master of this, with heavily armed guards on each corner and threats to those looking to rise up in protest by showing off bodies hanging around town for various crimes. This constant showcase of brute force is a very powerful intimidation factor that leaves people feeling helpless.
Thank you.
Under his eye.
Excuse me?
Even things like everyday vernacular are updated with pointed language that is based on scripture to put a fine tune on this new regime of authoritarianism. Drastic changes to everyday life further serve to sever the tie to old societal norms. When you replace traditions, language, behaviors, and ideals, you have a much better chance at disorienting your citizens, making it harder for them to rebel. If we can take away anything from season 1, it's an introduction and an indoctrination into this world, something that is so close to our own, and many may say that we're close to transitioning to. While the subject matter can be very jarring and can feel so far removed from our own world, in reality, it really isn't that far removed.
Legend in the literary world, of course, the author of the best-selling book, The Handmaid's Tale. And it tells of a near-future patriarchal society called Gilead, in which the rights of women have been virtually erased. The handmaids are women forced to give birth to the babies of the ruling class. And you released it in 1985. And I read that the events in the book came from
actual real life events?
Everything.
Everything?
Everything. Well, I didn't want people saying, you're certainly a twisted, weird person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead I wanted to be able to say, I made nothing up. I just relocated it to Cambridge, Massachusetts, where they were not pleased at first.
Well, but where were women being forced to have children?
Which century would you like to...
Yeah.
Which century would you like to visit? Which country would you like to visit? Which state in the United States would you now like to visit?
Which one?
The show, along with the book, serves as a crystal ball of sorts, and with the modern upgrades in references and story details and recent political and social unrest, we can see and feel even closer ties, and if we aren't careful, just like any other society, we may soon find ourselves boiling in the bathtub. Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Breakdown of Season 1 of The Handmaid's Tale. Season 1 is only the beginning of this groundbreaking series. Check out the full series, including the new season, streaming now on Hulu. And check out more of our episodes on our YouTube page or our blog, book reviews, and breakdown episodes featuring Pose, Ready or Not, Girlfriends, and so much more. We hope to see you soon at MickeyJKing.com.